Hello class, this is a brief video to explain you very quickly the metrics exercise assignment that you have to complete. If you read chapter 5, you will learn about different performance metrics that are used in marketing to evaluate the campaigns, for example, advertising campaigns. So for this metrics exercise, you will find a scenario of a small business that is called Kale Delights and specializes in nutritious veggie-based snacks. So this scenario tells you that they have run a sponsor advertising search campaign for the last 6 months. So they already have performance data of how their search campaign has worked. So here, for example, on the left column here, you have the keywords that this business has been paying for every time consumers search, for example, in Google or any other search engine that they select. Every time that a consumer searches for these keywords and they click on the ad that appears to them in the results, then the business has to pay an amount of money depending on how much they bid and their budget. They have to pay to the search engine, right? And then on these other columns, you have different indicators of performance. These are the metrics, right? These are the indicators that tell you how well or bad these different keywords work for promoting the brand. So here you have clicks, here you have impressions, CTR is the click-through rate, average CPC, average cost per click, total cost, average position, conversion, cost per conversion, conversion rates. If these are terms that are not familiar to you, well, you have to read chapter 5 first, and then you have an explanation of what this type of metrics indicators are. You have also some definitions provided in this exercise, right? You have them here. So what you have to do is to fill in the blanks. Here you see these cells that are blank. Well, you have to compute and do the calculations of what are these metrics, the values for these metrics, depending on the formulas that you have in the definitions, right? So for example, click-through rates, the CTR, is dividing clicks by impressions, right? So the click-through rate, the click-through rates that you have to fill in here are obtained by doing that division. And the same thing with the total cost. Well, you have a different formula. You have a different formula for cost per conversion. And once that you have all the blanks filled with the corresponding values, then you can perform an overall evaluation. And the questions that you have to answer are basically which of these keywords perform better, which ones are more effective, which ones have more impact on consumers searching for the product that they sell. So they are going to ask you which ones work better, which ones are not working well, which ones are more costly, which ones, for example, cannibalize. There is a question there which asks which keyword is cannibalizing clicks from natural or organic non-sponsored search. So make sure to read the chapter before completing this exercise. If you go to Blackboard, you will find the metrics exercise in the corresponding folder for this week, and then you have a file with instructions, right, which is the one I just went over, and then you click on this icon, and that's where you will go to the metrics exercise, which looks like this, right? So you have a brief explanation of sponsored search campaign online, and then you have the data. This data that you have here is not going to be the same for all of you. It will change. This is something that varies from student to student, so don't just think that you can get the answer from another classmate, right? So these numbers change, so each of you have to do your individual computation and calculations, right? I recommend you to use an Excel file, like a spreadsheet, to do some of these calculations if you wish. If you go here, you can, on the upper right hand side, you see here the hand, well, it says click to copy table. You can paste the data into an Excel file. And here in this icon with the eye, you have the definitions and formulas, right, for the different metrics. So make sure to study chapter 5 and complete this assignment before the due date.